Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. I have recently been on a bit of a One Piece binge because One Piece is amazing. And I have decided, you know what? It'll be pretty good for me to, rank all the arcs, at least in pre-time skip, because I'm not all caught up yet. No spoilers. So let us begin today, and let me just say that One Piece does not have any bad arcs. Let's just start off with that. Except for one, and that is the Rongerand arc. And it is complete doo-doo garbage, and I hate it, and it is long and boring. And I don't know, maybe the manga did this, but I have only watched the anime, and I wanted to rip my hairs out and blow out my brains because this arc is complete bullshit. The only part of it that I like is the fact that Aokiji just comes in and just wrecks everybody. Other than that, Foxy sucks, his powers suck, his crew suck, it is boring and long as hell, and I do not understand why Oda included this arc in there, at all. There's literally no reason for it. He could have skipped all this nonsense and saved us a year or however the hell long this took to make. Seriously, you have no idea how much I loathe this arc. If you want to get a sense, go watch the anime. Seriously, it is the worst possible thing I have ever seen in my life, and I do not understand why Oda put this in. It is complete garbage. Anyway, moving on. So next up, and I must preface, this is not a bad arc, it is just the worst by comparison, and that is Syrup Village, where we meet ya boy, Usopp. Now, the reason why I particularly don't enjoy this arc as much is because it is really, really boring. That's just it. Usopp in the beginning is a bit insufferable, I'm not gonna lie. The villain, Captain Kuro or whatever, Cat Claws dumbass, is also probably the worst villain in the series. I mean, I could go for Don Krieg or maybe friggin' the dude who eats everything, but no. Kuro is the worst one, and his plan is the worst thing I've ever heard. Oh, let me pretend to be a butler for 3 years just so I can steal this girl's money. Dude, you're a pirate. What the hell's wrong with you? I don't know. This arc is just... It's not funny. It's just average. It's boring. Literally nothing happens. When you get Usopp as a crewmate, but that's literally it. Also the Sunny, but the Sunny doesn't become relevant until Water 7, so... I don't know. So this next one, I'm not sure I can even consider it an arc, but I mean, I looked it up and apparently it is, and that is Reverse Mountain. Laboom. Yeah, it goes on for 3 episodes, and it shouldn't really be that long. I mean, honestly, it's there. That's all I can really say for it. It's there. There's nothing remarkable about it. I mean, Luffy punches a whale. That's honestly it. So next up is Romance Dawn, aka the first ever arc of One Piece. And the most remarkable thing about this arc is Luffy's backstory with Shanks. Other than that, when Luffy punches out Alvida, that's it, and meets Kobe. The one character that literally never does anything. But yeah, Romance Dawn is there. It is the beginning of the series, and it is nostalgic as hell. But there's nothing remarkable about it at all. There's nothing really remarkable about the beginning of One Piece, honestly. But, Oda has to put it somewhere. We do meet Zoro, but his backstory sucks. Anyway, moving on. So, next up is the Orange Town arc. And, I do love me some Captain Buggy, but that's it. That's really it. I mean, I know there's a weird backstory with the dog, and it's sad and stuff, and Buggy is there, but Buggy doesn't become ultimate Buggy until we get to Marineford. That's when Buggy is peak Buggy. But at this early stage, he just a regular ass villain that just looks like a clown. He doesn't become legendary until later on. And we do meet Nami, and she's there. She's also not peak Nami yet, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I gotta say, it's also kind of an average arc. I do like the fact that Buggy almost blows up a town for no reason. But yeah, like I said, these early One Piece arcs, they're like mid-tier. They're like kind of mesh. So next up is Ritur Garden. And this is a great setup arc, I'm not gonna lie. It is a really great setup arc. But that's really about it. We get to meet Dorian Broggy, and you know, giants exist, so that's pretty cool. Baroque Works also becomes a thing. The Mr. Prince moment, spectacular. But honestly, nothing much seriously happens. I mean, Mr. 3 is not exactly a spectacular villain, if you catch my drift. Neither is that one girl who paints things. But you know, it's kind of, like I said, it's a great setup arc. But that's really all it is. So next up is a bit of a mix-up because I put in a filler arc in here because honestly I love it that much, and that arc is G8. And the only reason G8 is on this list is because this arc is hysterical. It is one of the funniest arcs I've ever seen. It is probably the greatest filler arc in all of anime, I'm not gonna lie. So here's where it stays. Hopefully you guys don't get mad at me, but it's there. So next up is Whiskey Peak. This is the arc where Zoro fights Luffy for 3 seconds, and it's inconclusive because Oda is a coward. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. But yeah, Whiskey Peak is fun because, you know, Zoro gets to fight like 1,000 dudes by himself, so that's pretty fun. We get to meet Vivi and that one dude that goes la 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 la, or whatever the hell. And also a great setup arc, just like Little Garden. And I think like these arcs like Whiskey Peak, Little Garden, and the one with the whale are just all setup arcs for Alabasta, and that's why I think Alabasta is spectacular. But you know, they are just building and building and building just to, you know, get to Alabasta. So they themselves are not spectacular, but what they lead to is spectacular. So next up we have Drum Island, aka Chopper's Island. Now I do love me some Chopper, and the one gag where Luffy wanted to eat Chopper was freaking hilarious, not gonna lie. And Sark was very emotional and very sad, but Wapple, man, freaking Wapple. Honestly, Wapple brings this whole arc down for me. He's such a crappy villain. Next to Captain Kuro, he is probably the worst one, not gonna lie. And I still don't understand how the hell he got himself into Reverie. That is like the biggest glow up like of all time, not gonna lie. Because freaking Wobble, man, he brings down like the whole mood of that arc for me. Everything else is pretty good, not gonna lie. Everything else is really, really good. Except for Wobble. Wobble sucks. So next up we have Amazon Lily. Now I know this pick is gonna surprise some of you because you guys are Boa Hancock simps, but I personally do not like Boa Hancock because I think she's like the biggest bitch I have ever seen. She kicks puppies in the face for no reason, and I hate her. However, everything else about that arc I actually really like. So there. So next up we have Skypiea. Now I don't know how controversial this is, but Skypiea I felt was way too overdrawn. It was way too long for what story I had to do. Now don't get me wrong, what I like there is the interracial like relations and all that stuff with like the Sky Indians and the Sky people, you know. I actually, you know, really like that. I like the fact that they introduced Dials. I like all of that. What I didn't like was the villains. Not Lightning Boy himself, but like his posse. I hated them. They sucked. Like, and the fact that they were in there for far too long. They drew out like the entire thing, and it felt too long. It felt too drawn out, and I'm kind of sorry to say that because I do enjoy it. But whenever I go back to watch it, I'm just like, I dread it a little bit because I'm just like, it feels like I would have just put in a bunch of filler in there for kind of no reason. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but that's the way I feel. So next up is a bit of a shift because we have the post-war arc. I would have put it together with Marineford, but Wikipedia, wherever the hell I found this list, says they're different arcs, so that's what we're going by. So post-Marineford, it's pretty heavy. I'm not gonna lie, and gotta say, Luffy dealing with his stuff is pretty sad, but the reason that I have it kind of this slow is because even though it's very emotional, that's really it in terms of anything. I mean, it's very emotional. It's very sad to see Luffy in that state. But honestly, that's all that really happens was him like crying and stuff, and then Jinbei supporting him. Which is, I mean, Jinbei is like best boy, but still, nothing else really much happens. So anyway, let's get back to some more fun things, which include the Jaya arc. Yes, I love Jaya, or like Jaya, more than I like Skypiea. Even though Jaya is a setup arc for Skypiea. For some reason, I like Jaya better. Maybe because it didn't last for like 80 episodes. It only lasted for like, 10, 12, however long. I can't say that Bellamy is the greatest villain of all time, because he is not. However, he is much more manageable here than he is in Dressrosa, because in Dressrosa, he is the worst thing ever. But here, I actually really like him, and the fact that the whole dreams concept. I really like that, the whole debate between Bellamy's perspective and Luffy's perspective. Blackbeard also gets introduced, and he's just some fat guy sitting eating pies. So, the greatest villain introduction of all time. But yeah, honestly, it's a great setup arc. I actually really enjoy it, and it sets up this whole mystery, and you're just wondering, what could this be? And then it's Skypiea, which kind of brings down the mood down a little bit, but it is what it is. So next up, we have Logtown, or Rogue Town, however the hell you want to pronounce it. This arc is pretty good, not gonna lie. It's a pretty good conclusion / setup arc. It's kind of weird. It's kind of into crossroads. But yeah, Zoro gets his swords. Pretty dope. We meet Tashigi and Smoker. Possibly some of the best characters in the series. I don't know. It's debatable. We meet freaking Dragon. Your boy Buggy is back, baby. Hell yeah. I freaking love Buggy. And he almost cuts Luffy's head off, so... That is literally the closest anyone has ever come to killing Luffy. It has been Buggy. And that's still probably the funniest joke. Anyway, and also it sets up the whole Grand Line, how dangerous it is, all of that. It's just, mwah. I like it. I like it a lot. Moving on. So next up is the Sririr Bark arc. So whenever someone recommended me the One Piece in general, they kind of told me that Thriller Bark was the worst arc. And I gotta say, what the hell is wrong with you, dude? This arc is... I actually really love this arc. This arc is like... I can't say phenomenal, but it is pretty good. Honestly, way funnier than I thought it was gonna be. Honestly. That joke with the freaking zombie coming out of the grave and Luffy pushing him back in floored me. I was dying for like 10 minutes. You have no idea. Anyway, anything else? I think probably the weakest part of this arc is probably the villains, because, that dumbass doctor and then Shadow Dude, whatever the hell his name is, were kind of weak villains, not gonna lie. They kind of sucked. But everything else I really enjoyed. Especially the moment with Zoro, the nothing happened moment. that whole ending to the arc was so spectacular. It was freaking beautiful. I loved it. Anyway, moving on. So next up, we have the Baratier arc, aka the place where we meet Sanji. And the reason I think I have this arc so high is because it's a bit nostalgic for me. It is a pretty good arc, don't get me wrong. But I think it's so nostalgic for me because before this, like I said, I don't really think the beginning of One Piece, the first couple of arcs, are really that good. But whenever I got to Baratier, I was like, whoa, hold the hell up. What the hell happened? It like blew my mind at the time. Because, you know, at first I thought One Piece was just like, it's a bit childish, just whatever. But when I got to Baratier and I got to Sanji's backstory, I was like, yo, what in the hell? That kind of opened my eyes a little bit, not gonna lie. And then freaking Mihawk freaking slicing down Zoro was freaking amazing as well. I think the weakest part of the arc is freaking Don Krieg, because what the hell, man? He's such a stupid villain. And I think a lot of the One Piece fan base just forgets that he is even a thing. Because the greatest thing about him was his like spiky cape. Like, that's the biggest character development I've ever seen this man get. So, I mean, he does kind of suck. But we do get Sanji instead. So, you know, it's an even trade, I think. So next up is the Arlong Park arc. You know, this is the part where we meet fishmen for the first time. And they are kind of assholes, not gonna lie. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. But yeah, this arc is Nami's arc. And I gotta say, before this, Nami, to me, was kind of meh. She was sort of like there. She was useful, mind you, but meh. But this arc brought her up to like, I was like, freaking hell, Yoda. This is when I started respecting Oda as an author a whole lot more, because damn, her whole backstory with her mom and the fact that she kept working for 10 years just to pay off this village so they could be free from the fishmen. I cannot express into words my feelings when I first saw that the first time. And that freaking scene in the anime where Nami is like, help me, Luffy, and he puts the hat on her, and then he walks off to fight Arlong with Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp. I was like, yo, that is still to this day like chills, goosebumps to this day. Anyway, let's move on. So next up is the Sabaody, however the hell you pronounce this freaking island's name. It's the one with the bubbles. The reason I put this arcs so high up is because this one surprised me a whole lot. I was like, yo, what in the hell? Basically, if you don't know what this arc is about, Luffy just struts onto the island like, who cares? Doesn't matter. But then everything goes wrong, and in his mind, everybody dies. His whole crew dies because of Kuma. And honestly, that was the most surprising thing to me. I was like, yo, what the hell? It was, you know, I can really not express. It was just, it felt like such despair when watching this arc. I was like, yo, what the hell? Because, you know, it's so lighthearted, you know, it begins, everything's fine. But then at the end, you're just like, what the hell's going on, guys? What's gonna happen? But yeah. Plus, we get to meet Rayleigh in this arc. And Rayleigh is a freaking badass, as it turns out, because this man could, like, kick Light in the face, which was surprising as hell. Anyway, like I said, arc is despairing as hell, and it is just damn. Plus, the freaking Celestial Dragons are such assholes, and I'm so glad that Luffy got to punch one in the face. And the fact that Usopp fell on one and just, like, knocked his ass out, too. Anyway, arc is hella sad. Go watch it. It's phenomenal. So, the next arc is the Impel Down arc, which is the big-ass prison underwater. I don't know how much I really gotta say, because I'm pretty sure everybody loves this arc. Because, you know, your boy Buggy is back, and this is like peak Buggy. This is when Buggy reaches his peak. This is the apex to Buggy. Buggy becomes my favorite character of the series during this and Marineford. But yeah, we also get Mr. 3, and it turns out that his fruit can be very freaking useful, as it turns out, and not just a stupid gimmick. We get to meet, what's his face? Magellan and Fishboy. What's his name? Jimbei. Friggin' sorry, I'm bad with names. We get to meet like all these other characters. And I know this arc was supposed to be like kind of dark and stuff, with Luffy almost dying from Magellan's poison and stuff like that, but it's also really freaking funny. I love how Oda is able to do that, get something that's supposed to be so depressing and so dark, it just throws some comedy into there, and it's just, I love it so much. But yeah. So next up, I'm gonna put Water 7. And I'm including Water 7 and Post Water 7 because it's kind of the same location, so it'll be kind of weird to not put them together. But anyway, freaking Oda, man. I cannot give this man enough praise. This man made me feel emotions for a boat. How did you do this? Just freaking how, man? That should be freaking impossible. It's a boat. But I felt emotional over a piece of wood. Freaking Oda, man. Anyway, just freaking damn. This whole arc is so sad. Usopp and Luffy have a fight, and it's just, it's so sad. I can't. But it's so good, too. The CP9 members, freaking Nico Robin being all shady and everything. This whole arc, just, it is the greatest. It is the greatest setup arc of all time. I don't care what you say. The setup to this arc is just blew my mind. And not only is it a great setup arc, it is also just a great arc in general, just by itself. I love it so much. Let's move on. So next up, I actually have Alabasta, aka Vivi's arc, aka the place with all the desert. And I gotta say, this is probably like the first great arc that Oda has written, is the Alabasta arc, because everything comes together. All the previous arcs, just like they were a build up to this, and it did not disappoint. And yeah, freaking Crocodile. I love Crocodile so much. He's like the most Bond villain-esque dude I've seen in the whole series. I love this dude so much. The fact that he leaves Luffy to live like 3 times is the most James Bond thing I've ever seen. It is pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, the villains were great, the setting was great, the problems were great, the conflict was also great, the civil war that was going on, and the fact that Crocodile took all the water from the city and made this whole civil war thing happen. The fights were great. Everything about this arc is great. Honestly, guys, I would just go watch Alabasta. It is just masterful in how good it actually is. Anyway, I have 2 arcs left, and this might surprise some of you because I have put Marineford at number 2 and not number 1. Anyway, Marineford, it is great. It is the culmination of everything that happened in the series. It is the biggest, and just the fact that they put this in 30 episodes blows my mind. Every episode is fire. Every freaking episode. I just cannot get over how good this is, how big this world is. Like, this is One Piece. Like, I cannot fathom how all of this fit into Oda's head, how he managed to write all this down. It is freaking spectacular. The characters, like, there's like 1 billion of them. Just talk about any of them. Freaking Whitebeard, Blackbeard, Aokiji, Akainu, like all of them fighting together in this one place, and Shanks coming in right at the end. It's just, everything about this arc is just blows my mind. The fact that Ace died too also kind of blew my mind, because Oda doesn't like killing characters because he's a big softie. But yeah, like I said, this arc is freaking spectacular. I love it. So, believe it or not, but Enies Lobby is my favorite arc in all of One Piece so far. I don't really know why I prefer it over Marineford, but I just sort of do. It's a bit weird. I love it. The fights are pretty good. It is a really, really funny arc as well, even though it's kind of a climactic thing. It's also very emotional with the whole thing with Frankie and Robin, the whole backstories, and the I want to live moment, and Usopp burning down the flag. I don't know, man. Everything about this arc, I just love it so much. It's my favorite. It's my personal pick. You might disagree with me, you might agree. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, this has been my list. I'm feeling hella nostalgic about it now. I kind of want to go and rewatch everything now. Not gonna lie. But yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed my list. I know a lot of you will disagree with what I have said, but honestly, put it in the comments and where I can ignore it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.